Hello, hello, welcome, namaste. This is Jess Gentinen and the incredible Dana Fanador coming to you live today for our Sunday service. Hello, Dana. Thank you for joining me today. How are you doing over there?
Oh my gosh, Jess. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunday service. I am so happy to be here with you, to be here with our whole community and back from Merida. And wow, what a big show. What a big service. What an incredible community we have, right, Jess? Wow. So, yes, take us away.
This is our incredible community, our Minga, right? And our time to come together every Sunday. And as you're sharing, Dana, we are fresh back from Merida, Mexico, in the Yucatan. And those of you that have been tracking and following know there's been a lot going on. Or if you're new and you just found your way here, welcome. We're so grateful you're here. And in this moment, wisdom teacher Sri Ramka and Master Lady Kira are making their way back to Tosa Blue Mountain. You never know, they may get in here in time to be with us. They are literally driving there right now and have asked us to really be here to hold this space with all of you and to share what has been happening over the past 7 days. You know, we couldn't broadcast last Sunday. I mean, we pulled it off. It went over to Facebook, but that's a part of everything that happened, right? It's been incredible. So we're here to really hold the space, share the gifts that are happening for humanity. Master Lady Kira Ra has shared some of the things with us that are important for us to bring forward with all of you as well. So we're here. We're here together, and this is that Minga moment of coming together, being with one another, and just thank you, bowing before each and every one of you. And this amazing woman, we both arrived home around midnight last night, and up bright and early. Thanks, Dana, for being here.
It's no surprise that this all happened and they're just coming in and they're probably just gonna, who knows, they may be joining us at the end of the show or in the middle of it. They could be popping in and surprising us at any time. But that's really what we've seen through this experience, right, Jess? Like where density is coming in, where is it trying to stop you? Where are the things that are coming in the way? And also, how important it is for us as lineage holders, as light bearers, to really anchor, hold together, be with one another, and really go into this experience of July of what we were going to be having, and into the two, and into the pair, and into the butterfly. And anybody who is in our chat who was there on this beautiful, beautiful journey with us, share what, about the butterfly, share what is going on. Because, Master Lady Kira and Wisdom Teacher Sri Ramka, they have so much to share off of what the experiences that we all had as well, and from what they had. So it's incredible for you and I to be sitting here kind of shepherding this in with our, beautiful Minga that we are, and our group and our community and our Minga of Global Minga. And really, I know for myself, Jess, and I'm sure you and I talked about it, and we talked about it with, members who were with us. It really is beautiful to see what we are doing. It really is beautiful to see how pure and how true and how authentic we are as our community, as lineage holders, and what we are doing here and how important it is. So tell the community, bring us in, tell us what you think, start us off.
Thank you. And what you were sharing to anybody out there that was with us on our trip that's tuning in now. I'm looking at the comments that are coming in the chat, and Sue is sending over things. Absolutely would love to receive your sharings of what this experience was like for you. And, anybody else, questions, comments, things like that, please put them in the chat. Sue's going to be sending them over to me. I'm going to try to look as I'm able to. I'm seeing beautiful things. I see a question from Leslie actually pop in. Will there be a video? There will be a video from the 22nd. So I think that's where we even dive in right now, because it was absolutely perfect, but it was such an interesting experience to see. And today's topic, you know, love really is the threat to density, the illusion to everything. And that's what we saw all week. And this is the month of love. June has been all about love, 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 right? When we reviewed the ascended numerology that's been put forward. And it's been this carrying energy and sacred union, the two, right? So we had everything put in front of us that tried to stop everything. So the ceremony was not stopped. And in fact, I believe even more powerful because of what happened. And, maybe that is even the starting point here, Dana, because I know it's on people's minds. We're going to be getting you the incredible video footage from that ceremony. And, I'll see if I can pull up some photos to share here while we're on too, if I've got them handy. And it was just incredible because we were about to launch live. As we clicked in to live stream, everybody's set, everything is set for that solstice ceremony, and the internet is out. It's
But
out
I must
everywhere.
share, Jess, I mean, it's beyond that, because we know that as, being energy workers, doing what we do, we know that energy and frequency comes in and plays a factor in that. And we blow computers up, we do things like that. But this was different. This was
That's what I
something,
was.
yes,
Yeah.
because there's a grid, there is
The
power.
entire city went down. The
Yes.
entire city of Merida. So yeah, like you said, it is the whole grid. So I'm like looking at my phone, no internet. Looking at Shree's phone, no internet. Then we get the message that, yeah, the entire grid is gone minutes before the broadcast, and then it goes back up right at the conclusion of the ceremony when we would complete our broadcast for this specific amount of time. It wasn't an accident. It was not an accident.
No. And I have chills radiating up and down my arms and my body and my soul. And I was there in the experience, and I'm sure many in our group were in there in the experience as well. And one of the big things in Mexico and where we were was, and Master Lady Kira Ross shared on the last show and Monday Magic and some of the other, recordings that we had during the group, was these towers that have been placed, and these 5G towers, it promotes incredible internet everywhere. I mean, that is one of the things we were getting greater internet in Mexico than we were getting that you pay, a grand amount of money for. So it was incredible. We had thought, no problem, we'll have no problem. Everything was double checked. Everything was ready to go. And like you said, literally, we are going into ceremony. We are walking in. You were on the ready, on the precipice to start, and boom, no internet, and it's really incredible. And I think that we should kind of back shift up to, getting there, some of us flew into Cancun, we went into the Cancun experience, and we were there for a little, and it was very, I know from the beginning, we noticed that it was very infiltrated, right? It was very unauthentic. It was very much an experience that was being sold. And as we went into that first day traveling into Cancun, and then we went into Merida and we settled into our crystalline container, and what we were doing and what we were there to do as lineage holders, a lot of things really became apparent, for us and to the group and to what humanity, as to what we're here and really what is so important, why we are lineage holders, why what we're doing right now is so important, why we are going into experience of our awareness from June of that unconditional love. And start us off, Jess, with saying on the first day how that unconditional love was stopped. Let us know. Tell us when we brought together as a group and what we did.
Yeah, it was very, everything you're sharing is, I just invite us all to breathe on this. It's what's coming forward for humanity is so big, and what we have done together through our Minga, whether you could tune into the broadcast or not, like you're there and part of it. what our group, our family, our energy has done and ignited. And there was, from the beginning, all of our broadcasts that were to happen as part of World Unity Week were interfered with. Every single one of them, from the opening day through the Sunday service that we were going to be broadcasting to everybody last Sunday, all of it. And there was this just complete surrender that has to happen in that moment. And we know, we feel you, and you're all there, and connecting and being in the chat even when we're not able to be there live, and sending your love and support and feeling that. And this energy of unconditional love, sacred union, what it means for humanity, what we have been doing this last week on this sacred journey of ignition. We talked a lot about it being not a pilgrimage, that a pilgrimage is very masculine and the journey is very feminine. This was a very feminine experience. And what we've also witnessed is the two aspects in this energy of collaboration and coming together and lifting humanity. There has been, absolutely, we've come across all these energies that are actually competition, greed, fear, jealousy, all of these things seeking to stop us. And what we witnessed in our powerful group that came together, it happened to be all women that answered this call, and our Shri holding that space of the masculine feminine. Every group member that came for this journey, that contributed, was there. It was one of the most incredible groups ever, because the collaboration, the coming together, the absolute energy of like, we're here doing this for humanity. It wasn't about serving any ego agenda or anything else. And I have never seen a more beautiful group of beings, women, come together and embody that. Because we have observed the opposite in groups of women and circles that we have been navigating, a part of where it's just, it's, those words are there, but the actions
There was
speak.
no jealousy, you know what, and it showed what we were holding, right? We were holding the authentic, we were holding the light, we were holding the unconditional love, we were holding the Minga, we were holding the service to humanity, we were holding the grace, we were holding the integrity, but we were also being faced with everything in between. And the first day that we showed up at one of the most sacred sites of Chichen Itza, you know, together with our group, all of us were so excited. And anybody who's been, you know, on a retreat with Sri and Kira, you know, or have watched, you know, in the community and never have been, they know that we go to these very sacred, beautiful sites, and, you know, we do ceremony, and we're very excited and ready to go. And it, going there, it was, the energy of it was a bad amusement park. It was empty. It was not empty in the place of people. It was empty in the place of energy. It was, there was nothing left. It was very desolate and dense, and there was a market in there, and vendors and greed, and it was just this, what we were faced with seeing of, if we weren't holding hands together doing what we were supposed to be doing. It was, you couldn't get in there without a tour guide. Everything was sold and controlled by the government. Everything
This was our first day. This was the day one opening at Chichen Itza.
And we brought together and beautiful Master Lady Kira and wisdom teacher Sri Ramka, in the chaos of it all, brought us together in a beautiful sacred ceremony in the beginning to hug and to bring us together. And
It was merely,
happened
it was
there.
merely a circle. We hadn't even done anything besides stand in a circle before we entered the sanctuary. We knew Chichen Itza ahead of time would be packed. We knew it would be full of people. We knew it was the most heavily toured site. And we knew ceremony was just something they weren't going to allow. You know, the sacred sites of Mexico and these pyramids, you guys, the indigenous themselves cannot do ceremony there. It's not allowed. So Dana's sharing, like, we didn't even do a full ceremony. We didn't do that. We were in a circle getting ready to go in, and we hugged each other. I mean, we and it freaked everybody out. It was absolutely, and our tour guide came up and said, they're already watching you, you can't. And we're like, we are hugging. When did hugging become not okay? And we went in and we proceeded with the tour and were behaved, and that's what you're sharing, Dane. That's what we saw was the amusement park, that this site had become
A souled
so,
experience.
yes, it had become so overrun with density, energy, and frequencies, and it was full of salesmen. And you couldn't walk from one side to the other without them hawking wares that weren't even authentic wares, anyways. And the sounds and the noises. There were still the beautiful butterflies everywhere.
There were.
Every single site was full of butterflies, and I saw Rachel and Natasha are in the chat mentioning that too. And we did, and like Rachel shared, the seeds of unconditional love are planted. We held that love in the midst of all of that. And right, and how important was it that we started that way on day one? That was, our Monday experience. That we had to see that for what it was. I mean, these incredible pyramids, but you weren't allowed. You weren't allowed to go off like the trail. Like you had to go to like this building, this one, have a tour guide share with you, move to the next one, and all the while you're being like sold things, and the whole place is for sale. And it was really important we all went there, and that's how it started.
And it was even down to the birds. I don't even think the birds were authentic. There was very little birds there. Everything was, they had these calls of noise that they had created from these little things that the vendors would call, and it would make bird noises or jaguar noises. And it was just this constant distraction pulling you away. And it was no longer about the energy of the pyramids and everything that it was about an illusion of an experience that was being sold. And when we went and we walked through, there was a few little spots that we found that still had the energy present in it. And when we got to the worst part, it felt like we had gone through the jungle. I mean, really, it did, through the depths of this scary jungle. And when we came and we're coming back out, it started pouring. It poured rain so hard. And all of us were dry. I mean, there was a surrender to the blessing of the
You
baptism.
couldn't not get wet.
You were soaked in every way.
We went to lunch soggy.
Everybody went to lunch soggy. And it was, but the most and we were joyful. We were in joy. We were in blessing. We were in gratitude. We were in grace. We were in integrity. And we were into the authentic of what we are and what we know that nature and what humanity needs. And it really brought us together as a group in that moment of, okay, we're here. This isn't ego. This isn't this, this isn't that. We are all here to serve a purpose for humanity. And if we do not do this, and if we don't all stand up, if we don't all stand in our light, and if we don't all stand in our mastery presence and wake up right now at this 11:59 hour, that's what's going to happen to everything. And it was very, very shown apparent to us. And from there, Jess, we went on. So tell us about our next
Yes. And I just want to acknowledge some of the comments, and Marianne saying, it's incredibly sad. Money talks, obviously. Yes, it's sad, but also incredible to witness, because that's where the majority of the planet's consciousness is, and we have to see it and we have to know it, and then wrap that unconditional love around and go to the places that hasn't happened to yet. So we had to start there, because day 2 was a massive shift in experience, so we could really have the contrast. And you're all on this journey with us, right? And we go on day 2 to Mayapan, and this archaeological site is the complete opposite. We were the only people there for a good majority of the time. It's not on the main circuit. It doesn't have any gift shops even or restaurants. It's just a site, and there's maybe a couple guys there that like are hanging out watching it during the day. And we went, and the tour guide started to do his little routine, and Kira, Shri, and Dana had headed off. Kira was right away beelining for the observatory, and I get the message over on my WhatsApp, like, come dance, play, and we told the tour guide, I'm like, okay, thank you. I wait for him to have a moment where he pauses to not be disrespectful, and now we really are going to take our moment. And it was the most beautiful thing. Butterflies everywhere again. And people were taking their shoes off, spinning, dancing, rolling on the grass. It was the most beautiful, dewy grass you've ever seen. And the site was just ours. And we all went to that observatory. And what happened there really, I feel like, ignited what was to come and where we're going for humanity. Anything we're sharing is out of that spirit, like this is all of us that created this, and what it means for humanity that we reclaim, and the joy. And the thing that Master Lady Kira Ra really pointed out to us to remember is like, when we go to a site or we're worshiping, that word, a site or a deity or an energy, it's like that takes it back into a density where you're feeling like the power of that illusion. You have to be a certain way and humble yourself before it, versus embracing it and being in the joy and the love of the connection with it. It's not, we've come to that place where we feel like we have to supplicate ourselves to, like, oh, great goddess, great earth. It's for us to be in that collaboration of joy and spirit and communication with. And that's what happened there. I mean, I don't know. How was that for you?
It was, when we went there, it was a place where we were all toning together. We went into the observatory. We were able to go and be free, but let's not let it all be forgotten that, it was a place where we did have to lose our tour guide. We did have to put the boundaries down and say, hey, back off. We're here to do our thing. Give us our space, because that is something where they've shared, the indigenous, where you're not allowed to wear your garb. You're not allowed to be in your ceremonial, pieces.
They don't let people bring in things here. They don't.
Right. So it was a place where we were free. It was a place where we were in the moment and we were singing and dancing and enjoy. And there was a beautiful ensoulment that came in. And, wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka found a pyramid that had not been, unveiled yet. We saw this beautiful San Pedro that was ginormous. And you felt the vitality of the earth. You felt the vitality of the light. You felt the presence of everything that was still there. And our group came together so incredibly beautiful. And it really was a connection of, we've all been here before, and we danced, we sang, we put on music, we sang really loud, and we were all really together. And it then clicked in again. Okay, what are we here for? Okay, this is what we're supposed to feel. This is what it's supposed to be. And here they are, they're selling an experience, and it went into the next thing. And it was very much awareness. We were aware of what we were witnessing, but also what we were needing to hold and go through with the experience, which entered the choice and then the awareness as we cycle.
Yes. And, that moment there, the observatory, we went into the observatory, and there's a column in the center that would have had a stairwell that went up. A lot of these places they've sealed, a lot of the doorways or things you could go into. But it had this energy of bats and birds that were swinging around, and our group was able to hold hands. It's a circular tube, the observatory, and really join hands and tone and do a ceremony that was this ignition, so really everywhere we went, there was an ignition. And the Yucatan itself is the bedrock of the earth. And really, what we're trying to create is this lifeline to that part of the earth that is very much sinking, to see that density experience where, yes, they're selling an experience. And you can see the road. There was construction all the way from Cancun to Merida because they're putting in a train that's going to bring people from site to site to site, making it kind of like a Disney cruise train ride through all of these sites. That site itself, the incredible part was that there wasn't a bag check. There wasn't people there to stop us. They may have stopped us if we actually started pulling out and ceremonial things, but we were in that observatory. We did what we needed to do. And then, yeah, we put on music and we danced. And then people had free time, and there were people climbing up and being on a pyramid. At Chichen Itza, you were not allowed to even touch this. You weren't even allowed to touch the stones to feel
No.
them. Here I was witnessing people just in their element with a tree, or on a pyramid, or finding their spots. And yes, there was a powerful ensoulment that was delivered. I know you were there for that. And we will transcribe that, and we will, or bring the audio forward or whatever from that, because there was a big download that happened there. And that energy of the priestesses really came in, that the priestesses were, when this place fell, the priestesses were gathering and like holding the energy. And this really was building in our group, because this was right before we moved into the solstice. So, we went through this journey already of seeing both sides of the coin, of these sites, and going into the 21st. And wait, that was going into the 22nd. That was on the 21st, going into the 22nd, which was really that activation of consciousness with the solstice. And, are we evolving or de-evolving? And what this moment means for humanity. It was like everything we were moving through there was a imprint of what is happening on the larger macro level. And if we're going to make it or not, really does depend on you holding that joy portal open. It really depends upon being the vision and being in love. And when we move to July, I mean, we have the new moon coming in this week, and we move into July, and that's the experience month. So this month, this has been all awareness, and boy, was that an awareness journey that we're going to carry into the experience. And we went from that beautiful Mayapan to Lil Bay the next day, where we started off here saying, yeah, that didn't broadcast. Everything tried to stop it.
And
Everything.
Jess, it's so we're sitting here, and I know that we're going through the sequence events of everybody, and we don't. I hope we're not boring you all, but it was just so profound to watch what's happening every day and how it was building, and what we were experiencing. We were in this container, of this crystalline container, that we were almost back in time in so many ways. So many of us were having remembrance, and just downloads, and a recognition, and so much to where we have been before, and how we had come together as family, and that we had all been in this place, and it was like, we are here now, this is time now. And it was this priestess energy, it was this, but also, at my opinion, it was very much about there was a lot of sacrifice, and there was a lot of death that went on, in my opinion. There was a lot of things, in history that happened there, which led, and we saw the different ages, and the different stages, and the different decades, and of time that it happened in our lineage. And it was, all of us were there, could feel our presence of different lifetimes, and how important it was for what was being done now. And Master Lady Kira and wisdom teacher Sri Ramkant talk about it so much. When they left, they had to leave Cancun because it was such a dense experience. The ocean was screaming that it was could not even be in joy. It was screaming in pain that they could not even be there. And I know myself felt that when I was there with you and experienced that with you there, when we got there our first days. And they said yes to knowing to leave. They said yes, that they knew that they had to move out of that experience. And that found us the Golden City, right?
Yeah.
That found us to know that there was more density of the 5G towers that were made in a cross that were sold. There was a part of the sold of the land and the humanity of what it was showing. So, I mean, so then we went into Low Bay. And we did that and then went to the Golden City. So, I mean, Jess, yeah, bring us into that.
Yeah, thank you. And everything you're sharing, and just to like accentuate that about Shri and Kira, how they left, it was like they had to go and get to Merida, but because of the experience they went through in Cancun and felt all of that and knew they had to get out, the way the divine works is amazing, because the driver they happen to hire and find is this incredible being, and on their journey he starts telling them about a Virgin Mary apparition site, and hello, are we not all in love with the Mary? And we have our own site in the Kaha's. Those of you that have been following the journey know how incredible that site is. So, and the he starts sharing with them that there's this Mary there that has real hair that keeps growing, and if they cut it, it just keeps growing, and it's a golden city. And they went that day to the golden city. So had they not traversed, had they flown right to Merida, they might not have learned about the golden city or known that was there this trip. It was because of how it happened that they had to be ejected from Cancun early on their honeymoon. And then, they got an awesome place in Merida, and went to this golden city on the way. So on the 22nd, when we were at Lowell Bay, and that beautiful ceremony that you will see and be part of, and the incredible video footage, just bowing before each and every being that was there, in form and not form. The land was sweet, and like Dana was sharing the 5G, and Kira did talk about this last Sunday, of what did broadcast over Facebook, and we're working on getting that edited as well, that didn't go over to YouTube. So if you weren't able to hop over to Facebook and see it there, she shared about this at that time too, that they built a giant 5G cross, and it killed people when it was built. It killed villages because it's so strong. And when you're in Merida, it's this beautiful colonial city, but all we see from our hotel room, tower, tower, tower. You have the best internet in the world, is 5G. So, I mean, there was no problem at our property. Shree's like, this is better than like what we pay for at Tosa Blue Mountain, and it's just this free grid. But then it goes down completely. And
And
this
Low
was a
Bay
show.
is not that close to me. I mean, it is about 40 minutes from Low
But
Bay to
it
Merida.
but it
So I
has
mean, it's a big grid
it's a big grid.
that was shut down.
Everything. And this was intentional, guys. This was absolutely intentional, because what we have learned there, like we have shared some of this, and Kira's been sharing some of this. It's like the attacks that have happened on her, the attacks that have been happening, and they can't get through to us. Like our level of consciousness, they can't get through. But what happens is start manipulating the internet, the grid. And that was a flex. Like that was like a flex of just like, hey, we can stop you. And all it does is really make us more powerful. And to me, it went down and we were just like, all right, whatever. And it felt to me like it should not have been put out to the whole world to see at that moment. It was going to broadcast to all these places, and we're going to be able to tell the story through our video, and it is going to premiere and it is going to go out there. However, to me, and I think most of us there, it felt so sacred that we maybe really needed that container so pure without the 5G. without, looky-loos, without any of that, right? And I know you were all holding it, and the land there is just sweet. It's different. You can feel it. And the ceremonial site, and Cesar Mena and Shri and Kira holding that ceremony, and the incredible group that came together. It was very powerful, and what it means for humanity that this is that moment. It has been that 11:59:59 moment, and we have to keep choosing yes, and choosing that sweetness, and choosing the love. And there was this beautiful pair of mating birds in the tree when we started that were just loving each other, loving each other. I mean, it's just the energy of love, love, love. And then the priestesses kept rising more. This group, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps again. It was just, the priestesses are here. The priestesses are here. And we spent time in the museum afterwards, connecting with all the incredible artifacts and energies of Umbatsman and the Mayan calendar. And then we went to this that Master Lady Kira Ra hadn't been to before. And I don't have this picture because Sri has it on his phone. We've got to get it out there. We
No.
all went into this right, this little
Snow day. It was kind of
circle.
like a circle down in the earth. We walked
Yes.
in this path that kind of like led down, and it was a sundial that was there. It was an ancient sundial that was, and Shri happened to find a sweet spot, and we had walked down, and it was like a circle cave kind of where the priestess would
And
do
it was a
ceremony.
sundial, right?
Yeah, it was a sundial, a Mayan, an ancient Mayan sundial, and it had not been totally cleared, but you could see that it had been a path, it had been used.
There was a fire
There was,
spot. There was,
right. And we were there, and the sun was beaming in, and it was so gorgeous, and the butterflies were there, and the flowers were there, and we were all there together, and it was all of us priestesses, and it was one of the most beautiful moments of the trip, where we really knew and came together. And Master Lady Kira Ra and wisdom teacher, he wasn't even there, Shri wasn't even there right there, but Master Lady Kira Ra was really sharing that this is the time we really need to bring our light and our consciousness and lift together. It's not just about coming and being a part, and yes, the signing up, the donut, but we really need to come to, what can we do in Minga together? How can we serve and do this together? How can we hold? How do we build pyramids together and anchor this light and this frequency throughout the whole entire planet? Because it is needed on so many levels, and they can't do it alone. They can't do it alone. It can't be. And it was very, very apparent to not only me, you, and the group that was there, how strong this force is and what is happening. But we're stronger, we are stronger, and we are better together, and we are beings of light. I mean, there's nothing stronger than that, but we just really need to come together. We really do.
They need us. They do. Our teachers need us, and we need each other, and the planet needs us. And it's about coming together for that greater purpose. And this new moon coming in, it is about your being. I mean, it's what is your purpose for being here? And really embodying that and living that, because it's the 11:59 moment. We're going to dance. It doesn't mean you have to be scared or be super serious. On the contrary, but you do need to be doing what your soul has been pushing you towards. It's like there isn't like a do it later, it's do it now. I just
And
bow before you and everybody that has come together and said yes to this journey. Like that's huge, to have said yes, I'm gonna go and be there on this ignition journey. Everyone had to walk through their stuff to get there.
and embracing that unknown, right? That trust and that embracing the unknown, those are the two biggest key things. And those are sometimes they're fun and they're exciting. It's fun and exciting of the unknown. It's fun and exciting for the new things that are coming, but those also can sometimes be the scariest moments, and the most exhilarating at the same time. And that's what's happening not right now for everything, for humanity. It's all shifting, it's all changing. changing. And we really went then into, after we had left Low Bay and we were in that ceremony with the priestesses, and, you know, really knew and saw that we had all had incredible internet the whole time, you know, saw the density of what had happened at Chichen Itza, all felt vibrant again after being at Mayapan, and then going to Low Bay, doing sacred ceremony. Some of our beautiful Minga, it was their first ceremony that they had ever had partaked in. So it was so incredible. There was beautiful flowers and birds and butterflies and just all around Low Bay. And then we went to the Golden City, which was it was so profound for everyone on so many levels, and one of the most gorgeous, incredible places that I know myself have ever been to. But there was a lot that came up with it for everyone. You know, you saw again the time, you know, of time and history of what had been done and what was in that Golden City, you know, and what had happened in history to get to that Golden City. So some of our group, even the energies of it, and Master Lady Kiara even, you know, was talking about what had happened, you know, in history with that city to get there. So it was incredible to watch the journey and all of the experience. And we had the beautiful nuns that we were all there with, and we were in this beautiful sacred container of just joy and presence of what it is. And we found a pyramid in the Golden City as well that we didn't even know about. So that was exhilarating and amazing for all of us.
Absolutely. I'm trying to actually pull up a picture right now, if I'm able to. The Golden City, it was built on top of the pyramids themselves, and the the chapel, the monastery where you're speaking, and the nuns that were there, it was all. It's like it actually is built like it's a fortress, and there was a little bit of resolution too for any of us, you know, kind of to do there, because it is this sacred apparition site. The energy experience that many of us had there was very, very profound. And it was built, they demolished 5 giant pyramids to build the city on top and this monastery on top. And it's like that moment of, you know, you have to move through that because that's hard. Yet at the same time, it's a monastery, it's a cathedral, it's a church
It was
built to
gorgeous.
Mary. It's built to Mary. And like any Catholic on our trip said, is like, they've never been in a church that's built for
From
Mary.
Mary.
And everything is painted gold. Every building, every uh, part of the town is built in that gold. And
When you look down the streets, it's actually kind of wild and takes you back into a time and play, because you look down the streets when you come out, and all the streets are gold. They all look the same, and you know, it's just everywhere you look is nothing but gold, and all very similar. So yeah, that is it. Yes.
if you're seeing my screen, I hope you guys are seeing it now. Are you seeing that, Dana?
Yes.
Yeah. This is that color of gold. This is the front of that cathedral. That Mary stained glass, she's violet. These are pure, see the pyramids on the top of the building? There are actually golden ratio pyramids represented in the architecture itself. So this was the highlight that we didn't even know was going to happen, right? This was the place that Trinkira found because they had to leave Cancun early, and the driver talked about it. This is where we went after Lowell Bay, and being in ceremony this was not planned on our itinerary. These are the kind of things that just do happen when you're in the emergence of it. And there's the striking color of gold. And let me see if I can grab the
And we
close up
bought
of the.
beautiful rose petals that we had, brought, and we had given them, as an offering. And it was kind of a big deal. Like, it wasn't something that, most sites where you go to that are apparition sites, or, that are big sacred sites like this, giving offerings, giving blessings, having that, leaving flowers, leaving an offering is not something that is abnormal. This was something that was not allowed. This was something, we all had a handful of rose petals and placed them, at our leisure, and drop them where we wanted to drop them, and place them where we wanted to place, all around in this grace and this beauty for the offerings, because it had not had that in so long and was not allowed. Wow, that is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture.
Right. This and stunning cathedral, all in gold. There's Mary at the center, some of our group members. I mean, it was absolutely a highlight and a blessing, and that divine, feminine, sacred communion that came forward through that. And, there's so much more that we could share there. It was just incredible. And from that moment, we all went home and everyone was integrating that experience, and we had our final day, and I'm just seeing beautiful beings holding space and love in the chat, and people feeling, there's some of our community that was there with us, Rachel, Jerry, I know I saw some others popping in that were there holding that space. And yeah, and those of you that are just coming in now and joining, Shrink here are on their way to Tosa. They may be able to hop into our live stream, but they're literally like just getting home from 2 days of traveling. So please, let's all hold love and space around them for what they have been holding for all of us, that we knew we had to come on today to be able to share these gifts with you, so you didn't have to wait to hear what has been happening for humanity. And in that culminating day, after this time at Lil Bay, at the time at the Golden City, we went to Uxmal on that final day. And very different. And I do want to track back a little bit. Something you said, Dana, earlier, it's like when you see all the history, some of these sites, some of them were bloody, full of sacrifice. There's a huge span of history. When these pyramids were first built and the Atlanteans came and said, shared this, it was a time of much more balance of feminine, masculine, and the pyramids held all of that energy. And over time, I mean, it's like, as so much time passes, these sites themselves and the tradition started to become more dogmatic and more around that energy of ego and fear and things, right? And then now reactivating with them, incredible. And Uxmal had a totally different energy than these other cities. It really had that alive, feminine priestess energy. The pyramids were more an oval shape. The base of them was an oval shape versus the square shape you see of like Chichen Itza. And but still very grand. The legend is that a dwarf built, the whole city, and it's enormous, So there might have been something at play there.
I'll take our group a little bit through what had happened, that day. And every moment, every day that we had gone, there was something that had happened. The one day before, when we had gone to Low Bay, and it was Batsman's birthday, Cesar had gotten into a car accident that morning. Someone had hit his car. We were late. There were all kinds of things that had happened, every day that had come to try to stop what was going on, and us from doing, what we were here to do, and anchor these portals of light and open up these portals. So the day that our final day going to Ishmael, we in the morning got word, you and I, when we were meeting with Master Lady Kira Ra and wisdom teacher Sri Ramka, that something had gone on, and that they had to emergency deal with some things, that they were not going to be able to join our group. in Ishmael, but they had very much said that there was a portal there that we had to get, but everything, remember what we've been sharing, everything is closed off, everything has ropes, everything you're not allowed to touch, everything has a tour guide that is right there with you the whole time, everything, he is literally on your bus with you traveling. I mean, so you really don't have the ability to get into the places. So when we had gone in that morning, Master Lady Kira Ra had showed us, here's where the portal is, when they had gone there before, in
They had
October.
activated a portal
They
and
had
they wanted us
activated
all to experience and activating
correct.
it.
So we knew that we were going as a mission. We knew that
If we could get in there.
if we could get in there. So we brought our group together, right? And it was something that was the priestesses, because you have to remember now it was 16, feminine priestesses who were there. It was the divine feminine there to activate, to get an attunement, and to bring this, to be in this crystalline portal. And it was a mission. It was something that brought us all together. It was one of the most beautiful days that I know myself had had. It was a remembrance, it was a unity, it was incredible. And to be in that portal and for the attunement and what we did, what we did for humanity at that moment. I mean, it was incredible. The light that was brought in, the owl that was there during the day, everything that had happened, it was really wild. But for them to have been pulled away and that distraction, it was something that we had to hold and we had to do together as Global Minga, as lineage holders, and say, okay, regardless of what's happening, regardless of what's going on, yes, you are our teachers, yes, you are there, but we're here to hold you right at this moment, and we're going to make this happen. And we did, and we made it happen, and it was profound. So tell me, Jess, what do you want to say about that moment?
I'm so grateful for you and everybody as part of this group because, as you shared, it was a coming together. And Master Lady Kira and Wisdom Teacher Sri Ramka, we were holding them while they had to be in meetings that day. And she said, if you can get everyone in there, and we had our anointing tools and our candle and things, and we did the tour, and it was, the site is incredible. And to me, that site had so much more nature still present. A lot of these sites they mowed, there's a few of the trees there, but they mow down almost everything. And this site still had pockets where you really walked through some forest, you walked through some alive greenness and the energy of coming home. And this wasn't about doing something we weren't supposed to do. This was about us being and reclaiming our space, the priestess's return.
It was like, yeah, we were allowed to be there. Like, how dare you not let us be there? How dare you not let us go? Like, we knew the secret ways to get there. It was, yes, it was not about doing something that we weren't.
It was about us reclaiming what is ours and taking that moment for that activation for each of us, and each being there holding, and I look at that with the 16, and then you and I, we had 18 divine women there, and the 9, and the day before Umbatsman's 81st birthday at Lil Bay, the day we do Lil Bay, we didn't even know that was his birthday. Again, the 9, right? That Trinity times the Trinity, so powerful. And we did respectfully follow along some of the tour, and we kind of he knew ahead of time, and they were kind of on the lookout for us, and we were doing nothing but being in complete joy. And we had our group, we said, we'll see what happens. I got in and brought the candle and just reignited the portal that they already did ignite. Kira and Sri already ignited it. It was just going in there and setting that intention to open it again, to be in it. And it was like, okay, we'll see what we can do from there. Maybe we attune outside. It was like a little roped area. It wasn't far to go in, but you could go around a little corner. I'll show you guys a picture in a second. And, but we were able to outside. No one did interfere with us. We anointed and misted and really just held the vision and held the presence. And everybody was able to, that decided they would love to. Mostly everybody went in and had that moment of connection, and we did have to come together as a team. And Kira shared she loved that. Normally we will all be looking to them like, okay, what do we need to do, teachers? And we had to step forward and be those leaders and collaborate. And it was really beautiful to see, we had people running the interference, like everyone was like
On the
watching and
lookout, we had
taking
people
care, and it was
over.
so fun. And yeah, and a big owl came and landed in the tree in the middle of the day, a big horned owl right over the vortex as Master Lady Kira Ra there with us holding that space. I'm gonna look for the photo too while you're
Jess, and
sharing.
you, like you shared, everybody was able to get attuned, everybody was able to get anointed, but we were in this space where we had been there. It is, and you see the candle, and as we were trying to figure out what we were doing, we had gone around the one spot, we had lost the tour guide, we had said okay, and I said to Jess, all right, if anything, let's get you in there, we'll get you in there, activate it again, and then we'll slowly get everybody in there. And it was a moment where we were really holding, one person was on one space on a lookout, one person was on another space on a lookout, and there wasn't interference. It was like cue the children's group that came through, of the children's guide, that just kept on coming through, the same kids over and over, causing the distraction, so everybody could go in there and get their
And
attunement, get
look at
their
this
anointing.
beautiful space. I mean, you can see we have the little beautiful candle. Well, it was a big pillar candle lit, but like, look at this energy coming in here. And, it wasn't far off the path, but it was just out of sight. And this is a place that Shri and Kira, yes, they activated it last time they were in Mexico, and that we were able to go in there and just breathe and experience this, and I love that too. Jerry shared, that the land is 1,800 acres. So again, we have the nine energy and the infinite, just loving how the numbers really are speaking and all the signs. But this was really an incredible moment. This was the final day. This was that culmination of coming together to create that experience and activation. And before, I can't believe the hour's almost done. Before we conclude, it really is where we are going, as humanity. And this is the month here. This is the end of June. Look, we're going to be in July this coming week. So where are you at? What we activated on this journey, the awareness, we're going into an experience month. What are you aware of right now? Whether you were tracking on our sacred journey or you've been on your journey in tandem with ours, what's coming forward for you? And we have the illuminated new moon on Tuesday, really amplifying your beingness and the experience of July that is birthing, right? We transited on the 22nd. That's where we are at Low Bay, right there in the middle of the Sea of Neutrality in that portal, right? And we are moving right now through this week through that portal into July. So what is alive in you? What are you aware of? And what experience is birthing because of what you have been noticing this month? You have this week to really be with it and to really expand on it. And, stay with us. We will definitely let you know when we premiere that video of everything that transpired on the 22nd. We got to put together an entire little catalog. I hope you've been in our social media, because Baby Yoda was with us and he was
Speaking of,
everywhere.
yes,
Yes.
just to end it, as we were ending there, we walked out and, we're got to go and close up. But when we were leaving there, Baby Yoda was with us the whole time. And there was a beautiful tree that had a beautiful Shiva eye and beautiful violet flowers all around it. And we had Baby Yoda that was taking a picture there, and someone popped out of the bushes of a security and said we weren't allowed to have Baby Yoda there taking
We
pictures.
weren't taking it seriously, the sacred site, as we were all loving on this tree that had a huge Shiva eye on it. And it was just like that moment, right? Of just like, oh,
Yeah, there
here's
was
the
it was
illusion to tell
right,
us
right.
how we should celebrate and honor in the sacred site. I'm sorry, there's nothing more sacred than Baby Yoda hanging out with a Shiva eye tree that we found. And Shiva was with us the whole way. From the little cobra or big cobra, like those seed pods that looked like cobras, to the eye in the tree, really incredible, really
The crescent
amazing.
moon under Mary,
Yes.
so Shiva was there the whole time. So
Yeah.
thank you. Wow, wow, so incredible. An hour. How did that happen?
Thank
Right?
you for sharing with us. Thank you, Dana, for being here. I so appreciate all of you being here and holding space. Let's all just wrap our arm energy around Tree and Kira, who are arriving home any moment now, who have really dedicated their life, their beingness to support and uplift humanity. This is the moment. Evolution, devolution, love. Is it really the ultimate threat? To the illusion, it is. None of us are going to stop loving and being in joy. So, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here with you all and looking forward to the next time. Thank you, Dana.